Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Martha. Thanks for joining me today on this very exciting, totally not negative, pessimistic, sad video. We are reminiscing on my 2020 goals. So if you want to join me in my misery, then keep on watching. I don't want to get into the whole spiel of what this year has been, how it has affected all of us, how it has been devastating, and I'm sure you guys have heard it from everywhere because it literally is everywhere. So let's skip that spiel. We all know, we all have felt it, and I'm gonna talk about it a little bit more. So I feel you guys, I'm empathetic to the situation, but now that we have addressed it, we can move on. Like many of you guys, I set goals for the start of each year. I also share like my heart for the year, like my vision, or just like an inspiring word. This year it was generosity. Again, I'm going to touch about it in a little bit, but that's what I do. I set kind of like an overarching theme, and then I also set small and big goals. So obviously a lot of our plans, a lot of our goals for this year were completely thrown out the window, and just like 5-10 weeks into the year. So I look at my goals and my aspirations every single day when I wake up immediately and when I'm about to go to sleep, because I keep it like at my medicine cabinet. So I see my goals every single day, and there have been days this year, many multiple days, where I'm reading them and I'm just like, this is so sad, this is so devastating. And I just feel like this is relatable stuff. I know many of you guys haven't been able to achieve your goals and dreams and aspirations. Some of you have. So let's just share in that moment. Let me pull out my planner real quick. Martha, can you not be so dramatic? Gotta dust off that old planner that definitely got used this year. I write my goals here because the idea is that, you know, when I'm going into my planner, I also look at my goals. That didn't really happen this year. And like I said earlier too, I keep a copy of this in my medicine cabinet so I can see it every day, because let's be honest, I'm not always reaching for my planner as much as I would like to. So basically this is what my planner thing looks like for you guys. I divide up my goals into different segments or departments, categories, whatever you want to call it, starting off with my personal goals, my ministry goals, my habits, YouTube, spiritual things, physical, professional, and financial, which is a lot, but I feel like you need to have aspirations and goals for each of those areas in your life. Let's just dive right in, and basically I'm going to tell you whether or not I achieved the goal, why I did or why I didn't, and just really LOL at this moment. It's lighthearted, you guys. At the end, I'll do a little motivational wrap up for you guys, but just know that this is gonna be full of sarcasm. So yeah, the first thing in personal, quality family time weekly. If anything this year, that was the one thing I achieved. We spent so much quality family time this year, being locked up in our house for the majority of the year. It actually did help, you know, get everyone a little bit more closer, and we did spend more time. And you guys might have seen my quarantine vlog we hung out a lot and we did a lot. And this year we have spent so much time together. And I think by now we all need a little vacation from each other. But yeah, a lot of quality family time. So that one we can just, check right up. The little pencil. Check. Okay. Limit daily social media use to 1.5 hours. At the beginning, pre-COVID, I was doing so well in this. I was so proud of myself. I was actually getting it under 1 hour, and this was a huge achievement for me. During COVID, it skyrocketed to 5 hours. I don't know how. But at the worst moments during quarantine, it was pretty darn high. And right now, I've been trying to get more disciplined about it, because social media, it's not always good, it's not always fun. And yeah, so I would say I did not meet that one. So we're going to put a little X. Try again next year. Another one was make new friends. I really went into this year, I wanted to broaden my horizons. I wanted to meet new people, network, just make new friends. And I didn't. I got closer to some people and they have become my friends in that respect, I guess. But not like I had envisioned 2020 to be. So unfortunately, X marks the spot. This next one, it's so sad. This is where it gets a little bit depressing. Travel to Europe, Mexico, and Disney. This year I was so excited because in 2019, planned to do a trip to Europe, my very first Europe trip. We were going to go to Italy and Switzerland, probably Spain, if we could work it into the schedule. I had saved up my money. I had been making itineraries, looking at places I wanted to go. In February, we were this close of purchasing the tickets, and then everything started to unravel before us, and it was great. And if you guys remember at the very beginning of it, Italy was one of the hot spots, if you will. So I was great, there goes our trip to Europe. Sounds good. So I didn't get my Europe trip, which is very sad, but everything happens for a reason, God's timing. Hopefully next year I can make my way across the pond and head over to Europe. But, one day. I did get to go to Mexico. 2019, on my grandpa's 89th birthday, I said I am going to do whatever it takes to be there on his 90th birthday, because I had never spent a birthday with my grandfather, and he's the only grandparent that I have. So yeah, that was my mission. When COVID started to happen, I was I really, really hope that this ends soon, because I do want to travel to Mexico and be there at his birthday in October. And as well, throughout this year, my grandfather's health kind of decreased a bit, and of course with his age. So I really, really just wanted to make it, and I did end up deciding to go to Mexico for almost a month. I did tests before and tests after, and I quarantined before I went to go visit him. High safety precautions. But yeah, very thankful that I did get to spend his 90th birthday as well as my uncle's birthday, whom I love very dearly. So that was exciting. The next one, Disney. I really, really wanted to go to Disney this year. I haven't been in maybe 2 years, so I really wanted to go. But it's a disaster. Even though it's open right now and people are going, I just don't feel comfortable putting myself in that position, going to Disney, knowing what the scenario is. So next year, that's on the list. So this one's kind of like a half since I did get to go to Mexico. Well, it's more like 1/3. All right, so the next one is redecorate my room by summer. Then I was like, probably shouldn't. Gotta save that bling bling. Gotta save my money. And I decided not to during the summer. Then, as you guys know, we did remodel our kitchen, and so the opportunity came about to redecorate my room again, and I was like, okay, but then I just didn't do it again. This time for no really apparent reason. But I am in that process. I did decide that I do want to do it, and I just haven't decided on paint, color scheme, theme. I haven't really decided anything, so I did start purging my stuff, but I haven't gone forward. So hopefully next year you guys will see a little bit more about my redecoration process. I don't know why I just said that like that. But anyways, so those were like my personal goals. I achieved one of my personal goals, so tear. So far, not looking so great. Next, we're going to jump into the ministry category. My first goal was to develop more of my personal ministry, and I don't think I really did. I definitely took more steps towards it, but I don't think, I really wanted to create like an actual, not an organization, but more of a strategy of what my ministry will look like, and I didn't achieve that. So I'm still praying about it. I just didn't hear the words coming from God on like clarity regarding that. So we're gonna keep that in our prayers for right now. And you guys know that I consider what I do here on YouTube as part of my ministry. It does impact people. Every single day I get comments and messages saying how like my videos have helped them with their faith or with their ministry. And so I do consider what I do here as part of my ministry, but I want to kind of like expand what that means, if you will. So I'm gonna put an X next to that one. Moving on, the next one was plan a girls' conference. So at this time last year, I decided I wanted to do a conference for girls. I just wanted to make something beneficial to women, girls my age. But yeah, then I just didn't do it because conferences and everything got canceled or moved to Zoom, and I was just not a fan of that personally. So no girls conference. Still praying about it. God put it in my heart, and one day at his time it'll come to fruition, I believe. The next one was get more training. I have ministry experience because I was pushed into it, but I don't actually have like true like training, if you will. I did some training a couple summers ago, but I wanted to get more training, if you will. And yeah, I found some that I really like, and I do want to dedicate time to, but I just completely honest didn't do it this year. I just didn't feel it, if you will. So exit on that one. Disciple and evangelize others. This is kind of something that is consistent throughout your Christian walk, and especially with my family. My parents are pastors, and I do have somewhat of a leadership role at my church. So I am constantly discipling others. However, evangelizing others is a little bit more tricky, especially throughout this year when it was harder to get out and evangelize. I had done it more in 2019, and I wanted to keep up that area or that discipline, but yeah, being locked in your house, it's a little hard to evangelize to others. Again, I do believe that I use YouTube for that as well, but I wanted to do it in a more tactical way, face to face, but that really was impossible this year. So I don't know, I'm gonna put a check with that one because I did keep doing it. It was just not how I envisioned it, but I did kind of complete it, The next one was study scripture, and key word here is study, not just read scripture. I really wanted to dive into the Old Testament and just really study scripture. Just completely honest, again here, I did not study scripture. I definitely did read my Bible and do study plans and do things like that, but again, it really wasn't exactly what I wanted, and part of that was just because I never found the right resource that I was like looking for. And yeah, I don't know if you guys recommend any like study books or study programs for studying scripture, let me know. I'm aware of many, I'm familiar with the market. I just feel like I'm looking for something that's more like a class to study scripture, like, you know what I mean? You guys know what I mean. So X on that one, unfortunately, but it is what it is. But for now, we're going to move on to the next category, which is habits. Habits are really, really important. Habits are things that we do that we sometimes either we don't notice that we do or we are putting an effort to do, you know? So for me, I really wanted to create habits and be more aware of the habits in my life. All right, so the first one is practice Martha's daily habits. What does this mean? Okay, so many years ago, I think it was like my freshman year of college. I actually have it here conveniently. I created this sheet called Martha's Daily Habits for a Productive Day, and it's just things regarding my time with God, my goals, my environment, my responsibilities, my free time, my health, things like dress to impress, being comfortable at least once a day, just more things, and then like characteristics I wanted to apply to my life, like the fruits of the spirit and some other things and some like key words. I made this so long ago. If you guys want me to talk about that in another video, I will, but I had kind of forgotten about it and just, put it in a drawer. So then this year I was like, let me put that in the forefront of my mind and work at it every single day again consistently. I didn't because I was like, I don't know, I just didn't. Some of them, they are things that I have completely been committed to since the day I made that, and I do practice them, but I wasn't as like keen on it as I wanted to, like why I wrote this down. So I'm gonna put a check because I did practice them. I just wasn't, so hardcore about it, but it's okay. It still counts as a check. The next one was wake up at 8 a.m. and go to bed at 11 p.m. In 2020 quarantine, this flipped around. It was more like wake up at 11 a.m., go to sleep at wait, what? Basically, I completely destroyed my sleep schedule. It was getting to waking up at 8 a.m. and going to bed at 11 p.m., which some of you may be like, what the heck? Like, that's what I already do. I just didn't have a schedule like that, but I wanted to. So then, because of COVID and all of that stuff, not really needing to be anywhere at a certain specific time, I would go to bed like at 1:30 a.m. and then I would wake up like at 10:30 a.m. Which it's so bad. It's so bad, you guys. The only time that this was actually true for me was when I was in Mexico for a month. I would wake up really early and then go to sleep really early. So yeah, we're gonna put an X on that. The next one is be artistic and creative. Yes, gold star for Martha. I did, and you guys have seen the proof of that. I did some more creative videos, and been drawing more and designing more. you know, I'm proud of that one, and I want to see more of it next year. The next one was get back into music. As you guys may know, I used to play the bass. I kind of know how to play the piano, and I also used to sing. And I stopped doing that. I have not played the bass in years, and I really do want to get back into music. I didn't do it this year because, again, I just didn't do it. I tried. That's a lie. I tried. I pulled out my old bass. I pulled out my pedal board. I pulled out my amp. My bass is damaged. I got to get it fixed. And I couldn't get my amp to work. So I made the effort. It just didn't go very well. But that equates to an X. The last one was read more. This is a struggle I've had for a couple of years. Like, I want to get back into reading, not just like the Bible, but like, you know, nonfiction and fictional books, just literature outside of scripture. And I have many books. I started reading a book and then I just got bored. So yeah, again, I could have done better here and I didn't. All right, moving on to the next category, which is YouTube. My first one is weekly uploading, and 2019 I was not good at it. 2020, again, I would give myself a C- at it. I took a couple of breaks throughout this year filming. I was doing consistent, then I took like 2 months off, then again I was back consistent, and then I took like another month off, and then here we are now. I would say, given the scenario, this is a check. You know, I didn't completely disappear. I just took a little bit of a break. Rebrand my channel by spring. This I did. During quarantine, I got bored and I rebranded my YouTube channel. So, check again. Do you guys like the new visuals? Tell me. Let me know in the comments down below, because that's one thing I did achieve in 2020. The next one was new editing software by spring. I have been wanting to upgrade from using iMovie. That is what I use to edit these fancy, super cool videos. And I wanted to do Final Cut Pro or Adobe, whatever. And I didn't, because I wanted to get a new laptop to be able to, you know, have a new software that works seamlessly. And I decided not to buy a new laptop at the moment, so that meant no new software. So, you know, maybe next year, if you guys keep watching, you guys keep supporting me, then we'll get new software for you guys. The other one was collaborate more. Again, I wanted to collaborate in person with other people, and obviously couldn't, and unfortunately that didn't work out. X again. Then my last goal in that category was to reach 15,000 subscribers by the month of December, which we're on December 10th. And I believe we just hit like 12,000, which, yay, thank you. I totally appreciate each and every one of you who have been following me throughout the journey and who have just joined this year. Really, really do appreciate it. And it's okay if we didn't hit 15K. You know, it's not something that I'm like, we gotta do it now. It was just kind of like, maybe we can try. And we did. And we almost made it there. And so for that, I deeply appreciate it. So, another X. With a little heart, you guys. I'm going to draw a little heart for you. Now we're going to move on to the next category, which is spiritual. Now, this one is separate from my ministry, because those two things are different. You guys, I'm going to be completely raw, completely honest. If you want to judge me, that's alright, but we're all human here, so... Alright, so the first one under spiritual is daily prayer, worship, and word. Again, at the beginning of the year, this was consistent. You know, in the spring when quarantine and lockdown, this was still, you know, going pretty strong. And then it kind of just slowly started to slope down. And yeah. And then back in October, I was like, all right, I got to get back into my groove. And I kind of got back into it. And then I went to Mexico, and that was not very helpful for that. I tried. You know, of course, I have my time with God. It may not always look very structured as other people or as I would personally like to, but I do spend time with God because we're besties. But definitely something I need to work at. So I'm going to just put a little X because I want to motivate myself to do better. The next one is keep a prayer and praise journal. So this one is kind of hard because I kind of did it and then I kind of did something else. So I didn't do a prayer and praise journal, but I did like a soap journal. So I don't know if I should give it to myself because technically a soap journal is not the same as a prayer and praise journal. So, but I did do a soap journal, so it's like, I'm just going to put an X because the point of the prayer and praise journal was to spend more time in praying for things and, you know, celebrating the miracles. And I didn't do that, so X. Then the other one is memorize a verse a month. I didn't do that. Sorry. Then the other one was listen to a sermon once a week, which technically I do that because I go to church every week. And that didn't change throughout quarantine because I was still watching sermons. And then the last one was to fast more. I didn't fast more. I stayed consistent on my fasting habits, but I wanted to do more fasting than my regular fasting habits. This is so confusing. But basically, I didn't fast more than what I wanted to. So, X again. I put a check. Whoops. All right. So, yeah, that was spiritual, you guys. I am not a saint. I am not a perfect Christian. Y'all know that. And I'm just going to be honest with you guys. Keep it real. These were very specific things that I wanted to do, and some of them I just didn't do. And there were other things that I did get to do, which weren't part of this. So, moving on to the next one, which is physical, or if you will, health. Best dental hygiene. I would say, yeah, I have been, after I got my braces taken off a year ago exactly, I have been crazy about dental hygiene. Like, you have no idea. My dental hygiene routine is like more steps than anything you've ever seen. And yeah, I'm all about my teeth now. So I actually have a teeth cleaning tomorrow. So there you go. Check. Improve skincare routine. Also, I am so proud to check that one off too. If you guys have been following me throughout this year, you have seen the updates on what I've been purchasing. And I do want to do a skincare routine for you guys soon. Because I'm so proud of my skin. Right now it's a little bit not cute, but that's just for other reasons. If you know, you know. But yeah, my skin has never been better, even with the mask knee, which is so fun. My skin is just thriving in 2020. And so that was a huge thing that I accomplished this year. So pat on the back for me, because that was all me. So much research, so much time, so much money, and so much patience. And here we are now, glowing, beautiful, healthy, non-dehydrated skin. Tell me what you know about that. Next, we have walk and stretch more. So I wanted to put exercise when I was writing this, but I was like, I'm not gonna exercise. Like, I'm not. I do walk more and I do stretch often. So I'm going to put a check because I did do that, but next year we're gonna level up a bit. Maybe we will put the E word. I'm not sure. The next one is go to the doctor more, which in 2020, I don't know if that was a good thing. But yeah, my plan was just to be more consistent about going to the doctor, and I wanted to check some things up health-wise. So X on here. And lastly, eat more plant-based meals. Yeah, so going into this year, I wanted to limit how much like meat meals I was eating and try doing more plant-based meals. And again, I just didn't do it. I am such a carnivore that I could not commit to that. So those are all the health. Let's move on to professional, which here is like the demise, the lowest point of my 2020 and also like the highest point of my 2020. So I'm dreading this. But anyways, the first one is get a promotion. Tears. So some of you guys may remember that I did a quarantine vlog, and in that video I did mention that I lost my job. Prior to COVID, I worked for a catering company as an event producer, and I loved my job. And you know, going into this year, I did like my, what's it called? My yearly review or whatever it is. And I was on track to receiving a promotion. I was working very, very hard at, you know, making sure that this promotion was gonna come through. And then, yeah, COVID hit. The events industry was the first to be hit by this, you know, obviously, as well as like the travel industry, the whole hospitality industry, you know. And we all got sent home for a week, and then I was laid off. Like many, many Americans and many, many people around the world, I was laid off from my job. And, you know, in that moment, I was very naive, and I thought maybe, you know, COVID will end soon and I'll be able to go back to work. But now it's been like 10 months and that didn't happen. Anyways, so I did not receive the promotion that I was working so hard at, and that was very, very, very devastating. It was a very hard pill for me to swallow because I felt like I deserved that, you know? And yeah, so just opening up my heart to you guys, because I know I didn't really want to talk about this because it's still something that is very sensitive for me to talk about. But I totally want you guys to feel like I'm just like you guys. So when I lost my job, I was like, oh, okay, like this is not great for me at all. And I'm sure many of you guys also may have lost your jobs or lost a promotion that you thought you were going to get, or were demoted from your position. So many stories, so many people in very similar situations as myself. So yeah, I just wanted to touch on it a little bit because although it's sensitive for me, I know it may be something that you guys also experienced as well. So let me know, please let me know in the comments down below. The other one was receive a certification related to my industry. And again, yeah, this is something that I was working towards, and then it was just like so much doubt came into me and I didn't pursue a certification, but it is something that I want to accomplish within the next year or so. So both of those get an X. Then, so those are like the lowest points of 2020, losing my job, crying myself to sleep. And then the high point, so the next one is create a business plan. What? When I sat down and I wrote this, it was with the full understanding that this year was going to be huge for my career and I was going to be working and, you know, just being full-time, overtime, grinding, you know? So I was just like, let's just put it on my goal planning because I do want to get to my business plan. I just wanted to conceptualize it, create a little bit of something, and I figured, and that'll be good for 2020. I did not have intentions of starting a business, of completing the business plan, of anything like that. But after I lost my job, I realized, oh crap, like I just lost my source of income and now I don't know what to do. I created my business plan with a business partner, and I am launching a business very, very soon in 2021. And this is very exciting, and it's very scary, and it's very nerve-wracking. But this was something I did not intend to achieve in 2020, and I did. So that gets a check mark, and I'm very, very thrilled. That was exciting, and I'm just excited. So with that being said, the next one is a little bit ironic, but it is prepare business launch for 2021. Now, kind of retracting what I just said a little bit, but not really. So yeah, my intentions were to create my business plan and then late in 2021 start my business. All of this just kind of sped up because I had more time and opportunity, and the situation arose that I needed to, and then I was, and now I am, and here we are preparing a business launch for 2021. So I will definitely appreciate your prayers as well as your support for when I do announce that upcoming business. So yeah, very exciting. We get to check mark that one, and imaginary confetti is floating around here. And last one is networking, which, like we touched on the making new friends, I wanted to do more networking, join more like professional groups and stuff like that. But I couldn't. This just wasn't the move for 2020. Hopefully next year I can do some more networking. So an X. Alright, and for the final category, the conclusion to all of this is financial, which I had very high hopes for this year in that department, and let's just say if I am still alive, then it is because of him alone. Alright, so the first one is save $5,000 by December. You know, I did get to achieve this, and I would show you my bank account, but we're not going to do that. But yeah, I got to do that, and it was something that I just, like, I really, really wanted this to happen for this year. Even when I lost my job, I was like, all right, I need to be very conscious about my budgeting and all of that, and I knew I wanted to end with at least that $5,000 savings, and I did, and I'm so thrilled. And it could have been more, but it is what it is. So for now, check mark. Next, generosity. Again, like I mentioned previously, the theme for this year was generosity. I really wanted to focus on that, and what a year to pick generosity to focus on. For my goal, you know, I wanted to set it low. I put generosity to give $100 monthly. And that was kind of like a minimum, you know, like minimum $100 monthly. Some months I did more, and, you know, during the harshest months, I did a little bit less. But nonetheless, I every month made sure to give consistently. Apart from my offering and tithes, this was separate. This was just giving to people in need, organizations, the natural disaster relief, the pandemic relief, family and friends who needed support. I am blessed. I was blessed to be in a scenario where I could give, even if I wasn't working or had a full-time job anymore. I was still giving, and that was something that I knew that as soon as, my income was cut off, I was like, I still want to give as much as I can. And, I felt like that was more of a test, if not from God too, because I could have easily abandoned that and just been like, I got to save that money for myself. I need it. Like, hello, I just lost my job. I need us to keep my money. But I was like, if I felt God telling me to be more generous throughout this year, even if I lost my job, that doesn't mean that, I stopped being generous there. So yeah, I was like, no matter what I need to do, I am going to keep giving. If I'm in a position where I can give, then I'm gonna give. So check mark on that. And that's not to boast on myself. It's not to say like, wow, well done, Martha, although whatever. It's just motivation, and I have enjoyed it and I want to do more. Next is budget twice a month. This was huge. I started budgeting in 2019. Really enjoyed it. Very useful to do. I sat down this year, set out a huge budget sheet and all of this. And again, even though there was a dip in my finances, that's okay. I was still budgeting now more than ever. And at least once a month. I tried to do it at the beginning and like in the middle of the month. Ideally, that's what I like doing, but it became more of like just doing it once a month. So I'm still gonna put a little check mark because I did keep up with my budgeting, and I'm actually looking forward to setting up my 2021 budget sheet. So yeah. Then the next one is just to spend wisely, which I was doing so well up until quarantine, but my toxic habit, if you will, is that when I am stressed, I shop. And I did a lot of shopping, as you guys could tell throughout the past videos that I have uploaded. I do a lot of shopping, and not the best thing to be doing right now. But yeah, spending wisely, not just buying things because I want them, but actually, making sure that what I buy is something that I need or something that I do my research on or that I'm actually going to use. And so I would say that gets a check mark, because although I bought some things that I may have not needed per se, I always did my research on what I was buying, and I always made sure to get the best deals and all of that. So next is invest by December. This one is like a half and half, because I'm investing in myself, but when I wrote this down, I was meaning more towards like investing in the stock market or investing in other businesses or in other things. I just wanted to invest into something. I didn't know that I was going to be investing into myself. So yeah, that gets a check mark. And with that, we complete our review of my goals of 2020. Not a lot of check marks to be H. There was definitely a part in 2020 where I would look at this and it was just very depressing, and I felt very, very little, and like I achieved nothing. And obviously not the best outlook on your goals and stuff like that. But I feel like I have, gone over that hump, and now I am optimistic and I'm positive. What I did achieve, I am very proud of. Very, very proud of, considering the situation. And the things that I didn't, only God knows why it didn't happen, or why there was never an opportunity, or why, whatever. And so now I'm like at peace with it. And I know that I'm looking forward, and I know some of these are going to just take longer to, come to fruition. And some of them I just need to work harder on. And just a pause here. I do want to say, for those of you who are like me, who are very goal oriented, and you did look at your goals and you feel like a failure, because trust me, I do sometimes feel like that. I just want us to go back and remember that the fact that we are alive, that we are breathing, that we are still here this very day, that is the biggest achievement. That is a huge thing in these times. And I don't want to overlook that some people have experienced way harder scenarios where some people, their whole lives, their whole homes, everything, their livelihoods have been completely taken away from them throughout this year. And so I do want you guys to know that I am very, very appreciative of where God has brought me to, what He has brought me through, and what He's going to do next in my life. And so I don't want to look at this year as failure. I don't want to look at it as the year where I lost a lot, but I just want to see it as a year where I grew more, and where many of us grew, you know. And there's a sermon that I've referenced before and that I really, really enjoy from Erwin McManus called Nothing is Wasted. And that is just exactly how I feel about 2020. We all had high expectations of this year, and we got, you know, very poor results of it in most cases. But nothing is wasted, especially when you're in God. Nothing is ever wasted. We will look back at this year for sure and see the good of it. You know, right now it may not be very easy to do that, but we will eventually. And so that's all I wanted to say. I wish I could be more motivating, but I do hope that you took something good out of this video. It was a laugh. I was definitely inspired by a TikTok that I saw of this woman reacting to her 2020 goals, and they were just so funny. Her humor about it was so good, and I know I'm not the funniest person ever to watch, but I hope that this was somewhat relatable and it helped you feel a little bit more like, hey, you know, Martha went through that same thing too. And maybe you're watching this and thinking, wow, Martha had a very worse year than I did. Whatever it is, I'm thankful that you got to spend some time with me. And make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, and I'll be seeing you guys again with more new videos. Bye, guys!